That's how we're going to open it, with this laugh. So welcome to Up in the Air with Skydiver Tanner. This is my fiance, Chayse. Say hi, Chayse.
Hello.
So today we are going to have a little fun in the kitchen. We are going to do homemade hot cocoa while telling stories of like Christmases in the past or winter stories that might just be kind of fun and reminisce, so you guys can hear some weird stories while we also teach you how to make homemade hot cocoa. Now, I'm going to make a batch and a half, so I basically am kind of making a little bit of extra because we drink a lot of hot cocoa just between the two of us. But I can give you guys the instructions. I can put it in the description down below, let you know what a regular batch is. But today I'll be teaching you how to make about 50 ounces of hot cocoa. If you guys like my sweater today, yeah. Some of you will get why this particular sweater. Some of you might wonder why I'm wearing it, but we can discuss that at a later time. Anyways, are you ready to start this?
I am ready.
Okay.
Also, side note, this is actually the first time I'll be learning how you make it.
Yeah.
I'm never there for it.
Yeah, he's never there. I always make it myself, and we got a little dog in here too who's going to probably help us out or get all the crumbs that are on the ground. So I'm going to try to face the camera as much as I possibly can. That's why I'm going to have my lovely assistant here help me out with this. But first, just a big kettle. Just a big pot to start off with, and I have the measuring cups right there. So what I need first and foremost is I need 3/4 cup of sugar in there. In fact, I forgot to grab, the whisk is right here. I got the whisk. So,
Oh my god.
3/4 cup of sugar in there. If you want to make the regular batch, you're going to put 1/2 cup of sugar inside here. So we got 1/2 cup, or for our batch, 3/4 cup. Dump it in. We're going to take hot cocoa, and we are going to put 1/4 cup and then 1/2 cup. For the regular batch, it would be just 1/4 cup, but like I said, I'm making a batch and a half. So,
A quarter?
yep, 1/4 cup for our batch.
Okay.
And then 1/2 cup after that. And you don't need to pack it in. It could be real light. Perfect. And one more half of that.
Do you just eyeball it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I don't do overly precise when I cook.
What are you, a bartender?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we got our 3/4 cup sugar. We got 1/4 cup and a half of cocoa powder. If you're doing the regular batch, it's like I said, it's going to be 1/2 cup of sugar, and it's going to be 1/4 cup of cocoa. I'm going to just take the whisk and kind of blend it all in, so that way we can get rid of any of these cocoa chunks that's in there. And while I'm doing this, if you will hand me the 1/2 cup over there. Once we got basically all the big cocoa chunks mixed away and the sugar and cocoa put together, I'm going to take 1/2 cup of water. Hot water, a good way to start off with. That way it's already kind of ready to go. And you're just going to put everything on medium on the stove. So that way the cocoa mix can start to heat up. I use the whisk, just keep everything going as the burner is going to try to get it well mixed. And you're going to let the sugar and the cocoa boil together with the water for about 3 minutes. So while this is going, if you want to start a little Christmas story or a winter story or something from the past that is memorable for you.
Tales of long ago.
Tales of long ago.
Well, I guess so I grew up in a small town called Pipestone, Minnesota, and it is southwest in the little corner. For me, so my favorite event that would happen...
He just doxed himself. Go ahead.
When I was growing up as a little kid, littler, I know I'm very young, my favorite thing that would happen in the wintertime prior to Christmas time would be the Christmas parade that happened in my hometown. And I just remember everyone would line up. It would be about like 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and they would be giving out hot cocoa and apple cider for free on the sidewalks.
And what was your choice, hot cocoa or cider?
Always hot cocoa first, which actually, I love cider now, but because of that as a little kid, I used to think apple cider was second rate. I'd be like, Of course I want hot cocoa. Apple cider is for the losers in the back.
Oh.
But I love it now, so I am that loser in the back. But that was like one of my favorite memories I would always think of as a kid. Is that I would just remember all the lights. It was I'm brain farting. That glow of the evening. Even if it was snowing, we would still do the parade, and everyone was very committed. Like, and as I got older, sometimes like the crowds kind of dimmed down, but the parade always stayed strong.
Right.
There would be the band coming through. There'd always be Santa coming through on like one of like the big pieces and lots of tinsel. They had like horse rides that you could do later on in the evening, which my family always did. And it was just one of my favorite. We really actually got into like a lot of like winter stuff like that. Our town is really good at that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a Christmas parade type thing. I know the city here does kind of like a festival of lights type thing or something like that. And I've never really done that. I guess as a kid I was always outside all the time as it was, that the last thing I wanted to do was go downtown and watch a parade. I think I was one of those kids that would rather be like sledding still or...
Well, where were you living at the time?
Where wasn't I living at the time? Originally North Dakota, which if you've ever... Most of you probably never been to North Dakota, but North Dakota winters are cold. Very, very cold. Growing up, one of the winters I remember... We had like negative 60-degree wind chill for like, God, a month and a half straight. And our little tiny town, we made national news because we had a negative 93-degree wind chill day. And we still had school. Meantime, in other places, it was like minus 15-degree wind chill, and they were all called off and stuff. But school did get canceled halfway throughout the day because a blizzard rolled in or really high winds blowing a bunch of snow around. So that's the only reason why we got out. But it was always outside playing or snowmobiling as I got not as I got older because we still snowmobiled as kids. But it was always building forts in the snow and tunnels, and so it was like you were always roasting as it was because we were just working, putting in those tunnels and stuff like that. And
never snowmobiled.
You haven't?
No, I think it's like the strangest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I look at them and they terrify me. Like same with like jet skis. I've been on one once. That terrifies me. So like a snowmobile is horrifying to me.
See, and I loved it. It's I never got into like the whole like jumping snowbanks or anything, but just going full speed in the country. Open farmlands and fields and stuff like that. Otherwise, the other big thing is frozen lakes. Go out on the frozen lake and just go, which a lot of people find weird too. That's another thing I love to do in the winter is drive out on a frozen lake, take the car out there, and you just enjoy it, especially at night. If there is a meteor shower going on, best place to view is a frozen lake. Take the car out on a frozen lake. Obviously, let it be cold for several weeks first. I see a lot of these people who, it's below zero for 1 week and they see a little bit of ice over the lake and they want to be out there right away, and that's how you hear about things. For me, I like to see the weather be below zero for at least 3 weeks before I go out there. Obviously, the colder the better. If it's down at 0 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 weeks, and yeah, more than likely it's safe to go out on the ice. But I'm going to have you grab the milk out of the fridge. But yeah, driving out on a frozen lake, I find that fun. Like I said, best way to see meteor shower in the wintertime is drive out on a frozen lake. All right, so real quick, we are now going to add the milk. Because I got this boiling in here. You can't really see it right now. I'm not going to tip it because I got a dog down here and I don't want to drop it. I'm notorious for that. So I'm going to add 6 cups of milk to our batch. Otherwise, normally it's 4 cups of milk. So for those of you who are following along, that was 2, right?
Yes.
Those of you following along, you're going to do half a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup. This is 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm going to go back. That looks about right from me eyeballing it from the past. Half a cup of sugar, quarter cup of cocoa, third cup of water, mix it all up, get it boiling nice and hot. Then you're going to do 4 cups of milk. Once that's gone, just stir it all up. Get it nice and frothy in there.
Nice and frothy.
Nice and frothy. Let it get going, and then we just basically sit and wait for it to heat up. And we'll keep stirring on it randomly, but any other stories or...
I was telling you this a bit earlier, but it's not a particular story, but my family is my dad and my mom are really big into creating nostalgia of Christmas, and so they would use a lot of decorations from their childhood too, and they would bring them into our house. Like, we went all out for Halloween and for Christmas. We always we changed plates. we had dishware for it. We had mugs. We had glasses. We'd change out. We would change all our placemats and everything.
I shouldn't laugh because my mom used to do that too, actually.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah.
Just you wait. This is the ominous noise of the future for you. And then, we would always make it a big scene when it came to decorating the tree very specifically.
The future's already here.
This is the future I want. But then we would bring all the boxes up. It would always be on on a snow day or something like that. Always after Thanksgiving. You celebrate your November.
I'm very much a bah humbug. I don't want to say I hate Christmas. I hate the Christmas season because by the time Christmas comes, I'm so burnt out of Christmas that I'm over it. I love Christmas the day, and I love celebrating it, and I love everything about it, but I hate that things start happening already in September, and I'm over it.
And see, for me, I just look at it as an opportunity to get more decorations to make costumes, because drag queens. So we make it a big scene, and my mom and my dad would go out and buy all kind of classic Christmas foods. You had peanut brittle, you had the meat and cheese platter, you had little veggie dips, you had little nuggets. Little nuggets. No, we didn't have little nuggets.
Just don't want to get hair in the cocoa.
And then we would just place it all out underneath the tree, and then we'd snack on it all day as we spent time decorating everything. And I remember we did that pretty much every single year until I was 11-ish, because my family split. But that's okay, because we still do that at my dad's now. We didn't do it this year because COVID, but pretty much then they had 5 mini trees that we set up now, and one of them's a little bit more Nordic. My parents get really into Nordic mythology and culture. Also being Native American, so we kind of bring some of that in. We have the little towns and the little villages that you can do. I love it.
Saying that's where I'm bah humbug. But, like I said, I can get into it and I can love Christmas stuff. Squirming. What about anything did you do anything naughty on Christmas or for Christmas?
Oh, never. Never. Santa was number 1. And I didn't cross him. I was naughty the rest of the year because I was the baby for the longest time until we adopted my siblings. But I was horrible all the rest of the year. From my birthday to December, I was really cool.
My sister and I, no, we were terrible. So it was my sister and I, and then my mom. Parents are divorced, but we would either make a pact together of I would tell my sister what she was getting for Christmas, and she would tell me what I was getting for Christmas, and we'd keep it a secret, and then we'd act totally surprised when we'd open up the gift. Otherwise, we also knew where my mom hid the Christmas gifts. So we lived in an apartment, right? And there was a separate storage room that you could walk down the hall, go in the storage room, and then have a key to get in there. And we all had a key to get into the storage. Well, we knew that she hid everything way in the back. So we would take our key and go in there and look way in the back to see what we'd get. And, and for me, it was either Micro Machines or Legos. That's what I always wanted, was one of those. And I remember one gift I had wanted really bad was Micro Machines slot car races. like where you put them on and the electricity, you pull the trigger and they go zipping around the track.
I've only seen that on TV.
Yeah, so I had that and it like zipped over loop-the-loops and it was like glow in the dark and stuff. So I saw that one year and I was like super excited. So when I opened it, it's like the whole, oh my god, this is awesome! And then Legos too, like the Lego Airport was one that I had wanted really bad, and the Shipyard or something like that. And I got one year and the one the other, but I knew before opening them.
Oh my god!
And then this was when we were like, probably when I was like 12, 13 years old, but I was not even well before that.
Wow.
As a little kid, like I'm saying, like, and this is weird because I remember this perfectly. And I was like 3, 4 years old. We were living in a house out in North Dakota, and all the presents were underneath the Christmas tree. And I knew how to read my name at 3 or 4 years old. I knew what it looked like. So I found every present that said Tanner on it, and I opened it, whether it was to or from. If it said Tanner on it, I opened that present. So I had them all open.
That kid.
and like one of my gifts was like a Hot Wheels thing. It was like one where you open it up and you bring the Hot Wheels down and you play a construction site type deal. And I opened that and I started playing with it. And of course, then my parents came down and saw that I had opened all these presents, and I think my sister was crying. And so what my punishment was that I couldn't play with that for like a month. And so they took the toy from me and they put it on this top shelf in a toy room that we had. But what was so stupid about that is, like, I'm a kid. What do kids like to do? They like to climb. So when they weren't around, or if they didn't know, like, I'd be up early in the morning and I would climb, grab it, pull it down, play with it, and then like after a certain time, or if I heard a noise, I'd quickly put it back up and then act like I was playing with something else in there, and it was just, I was naughty.
This is the last time you ever got up early, too.
Yeah, it probably was, because I am not a morning person. But to play with my Matchbox toys, yeah, I was up early, or to check out those Legos and stuff, and that, yeah.
You were
That's one of my stories. I was.
I wasn't. I was a moody kid. If I did something wrong and I was punished, I was sitting, I was stone cold, I was mad, I wouldn't do anything, I'd just pout. That's, no.
You're not supposed to pout.
Well, it was past Christmas.
He pouts a lot.
I don't.
No, you don't.
I promise. What is another one? I remember my mom used to do a lot of felt work. And so she would sit and she would create rows and rows of identical, I don't know how she did it, cutouts, that's how she did it, of snowmen, and she would stuff them, and then we would line the walls of our house with them. My mom was super into crafts. That's why I'm a good drag queen now.
Yeah. If you guys didn't tell, he's a drag queen. Oh, I got bling on mine too.
Do you see these stones?
Yeah, I do.
Do you see these stones? I'm gonna pluck them off when I ruin this
Yeah,
sweater.
well.
I'm trying to remember anything else. I don't know. My family was never like, we didn't work together well. My sister was 8 years older than me. My brother was 7 years older than me, and my other oldest sister was 3 years older than me. And then I had an oldest brother. He's a half brother, who was 12 years older than me. That's a question mark. We don't know how old he is. But he went to his birthday on January 1st, so New Year's. Every time, like, Christmas, my family really slid Christmas and New Year's Eve together. You just kind of continued this week of celebratory, like, fun, and everyone, like, we would do brunches a lot. We brunched before anyone else. We would do, like, these little brunches. It'd be filled with, like, donuts, egg bacon, of course, sausage. And we'd sit down as a family do it. We didn't normally sit down as a family do dinner, but when it came to these moments, it was super important. We sat together. It was classic. My dad would get, like, the Sunday news, and then we would fight over, like, the comics. Well, I didn't know what else was in the news. I didn't read that. I didn't care.
Right.
And then it would be his birthday / Christmas Eve, and that was always a big deal. We'd still have the Christmas tree up. We would probably add lightly more decorations onto it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all kind of like a hodgepodge. It was like a week thing.
Right.
My family did Christmas.
Wow, that's cool. So, yeah, see, my sister's birthday is right around Christmas, too. But
That's right.
we always made, well, she made a point, and I don't blame her for, like, my birthday is separate from Christmas. So if we did something, you know, for our birthday, it had to make sure to be absolutely not Christmas related or around Christmas events. So like if we were doing our family Christmas or big family Christmas, it had to be separate from celebrating her birthday, which again, I don't blame her for any of that. But,
Absolutely.
So anyone who's got like Christmas birthdays or around Christmas birthdays, I don't have it, but my sister does. I totally feel you guys and wanting that separation of the day and your birthday.
Your right.
Yeah.
Fight for that right.
Can't remember what I was going to talk about. How about any like sledding things? Any stories on that?
So, funny enough, I know like when you talk about the lake, the frozen lake thing, that freaks me out. I want to do it because I used to live by Lake Minnetonka for a long time, and I remember seeing kids confidently walk across the lake with their dog, and I was sitting in the coffee shop I worked at, and I was like, oh my god, this is it, that they're going down, it's happening. It's dramatic,
right.
Of course. But so there, from my hometown, like 10 minutes away, there's a place called Lake Benton. That's the name of the town and the lake. Really creative. But they had huge rolling hills there. You know, we see them when we drive back from my parents. And we would go out there. My family didn't. I would go with friends. And they would, because my friends had all the sleds. We lost our sled somehow. I don't know how we did that. But we would then go out there, and they were huge hills. And as a kid, you know, they were like mountains, basically. And it was the best thing ever. The best. It was so exciting. Not a lot of snowball fights, though. Disappointed about that.
We didn't do a lot of snowball fights either, but I got several sledding stories, actually. So the first one that's really weird is, so my dad's family was very poor growing up. They couldn't have sleds or toboggans or anything like that. So they had shovels that had a big scoop on it. So what they would do is they would sit on the scoop of the shovel with the handle between their legs, and that's how they would sled down the hill. And then you could also, you know, manipulate the handle. And so one year my dad kind of like forced us to try it out, you know, and we had this big hill in the small town that we grew up in, and we grabbed the shovels with the really big scoops and stuff, and we went out, and it was fun. Like, you actually could go pretty fast. So if you happen to be a poor kid out there, but your family has a shovel, you can still sled. Like, it works, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty wild. But so that was kind of the one experience. But we always went sledding as kids, whether it be, you know, just a really cheap type thing. But my favorite was always the snow tube or saucers. But snow tubes, I just feel like they go faster. And one Christmas, well, not Christmas, but close to Christmas, it was my cousins and I, we were out sledding and on a snow tube going down the hill, and you go super, super fast, and ha, this is fun. So then it got to a point of like, well, let's stack up on the snow tube.
Oh my God.
And so for whatever reason, we thought it would be fun to stack up on the snow tube facing down. So I'm on the snow tube facing down. My cousin, who's slightly younger than me, is above me, and then my other younger cousin is above him. So we're sandwiched on top of the snow tube. And we're, you know, wait, it's going to make us go faster. So we start going down the hill, and we were like, yes, this is the coolest thing ever. But the problem with it is, at the bottom of the hill, there was a road. Now this road it's not used very much at all. It was basically just kind of there to get in and out of the apartment complex that was around there, but it was like zero traffic. And of course we didn't go down the hill if it looked like there was a car coming. But we're going down the hill, and we get to the bottom where the road is. Now mind you, the road is clear of snow. So we get to the road, and the snow tube stops dead. And I'm on the bottom, and my cousin's over me and his brother over him. And so the snow tube stops, and I keep going, and my face just goes on the road.
Oh my god.
So I had road rash here, here, and on my chin.
Oh my god.
Like, I think it was 4 days later was like a really big family Christmas with the aunts, uncles, and cousins and stuff. And so in all the pictures that we took there, I just got these scars or scabs right here, here, and here because we were going down, and just I took a road rash to the face, but I was laughing so hard because we were going so fast and it was so fun and the way we were bumping, but that I think like it was just so fun and exciting that I didn't even think about what it felt like or how it hurt.
Oh my god.
But that's one of my like sledding stories. I mean, there's so many others. One where I was going down a hill and hit a ramp, and I actually flipped upside down. And this is the actual kind of scary part is, so it was into a frozen lake, a big hill going down to a frozen lake, but it was frozen over. And so you hit the bump, and at the bottom then it's all ice because of the frozen lake. I flipped upside down, and my head barely hit the ground that it pulled my stocking cap off, but I continued the flip, and I kept sliding. So I hit the bump, went upside down, the ground took the hat off, and I don't know how I don't know how it all happened, but I landed back upright, and I just kept going, and I was just like, I lucked out because like any lower and that solid ice without it being snow, like just ugh. But yeah, so that was another little story.
I lied. In high school, we did do some sledding. I just remembered that.
Oh yeah?
I have a memory of a goldfish. For gym class, we would go out and sled. And then, like, because, like, hometown, like, Farmville, they made their own rules. Kids could go home because it was that close to school because the farms were that close. And they could go grab their snowmobiles and pull people around. I didn't do that. I didn't experience that. But kids would go then pull other kids around until one day, this gal, Billy Kay, she broke her arm because she hit, like, because at the bottom, there was rocks everywhere, which made me think, like, why are our teachers lining us up at a rock bottom? But, winners, beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
But she broke her arm, and then it stopped.
Well, that's what's kind of funny, too, is, like, you think about all the stuff that you do, like, 10, 15 years ago for me, much longer ago.
Years ago for me.
And the stuff that we did, whereas nowadays, if people were to be doing it, it would be, like, child neglect or something that you're not paying attention to what's going on, but I remember people getting pulled behind snowmobiles on sleds and snow tubes. I remember taking my 4-wheel drive truck that I had, but you would leave it in 2-wheel drive, and you'd find like the big parking lot, and you just do cookies left and right because it's all ice. So you get traction, and then you pop the emergency brake, and you just zip around, or if it's like in the truck, you get going, and then you gas it in the back and starts to swing out on you and stuff like that.
Well, my hometown was more developed than your small town. We had paved roads. No, I'm kidding. I know you meant paved, like, parking lots.
Right.
We didn't do that, but a lot of kids would bring their snowmobiles in town because, I don't know, we didn't, our snowplows didn't come through town a lot. And thinking back to it, I'm like, that's a little weird. They didn't do that a lot. And, like, especially, like, if it was on school break and stuff like that, I think they just took it as, like, traffic slower and stuff like that. But, I mean, there'd be times, like, in my part of Minnesota, where I grew up, if the weather was too bad, they would close down, like, highways or freeways.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was a usual thing. And I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, the snow got so bad and so icy that the police in town, like, the people, they put out that if you left town, you would get $1,000 fine. Because it was so dangerous for people to go out, but it's even more dangerous to send rescue out.
Wow.
And that people were not getting their cars for cheap, people were getting accidents, like, it was really risky, and of course people tried, and they did get their $1,000 fine.
Right.
So
right.
Weird things in the Wild West.
Well, as I remember too, is like a lot of kids would drive their snowmobiles into school because again, like that winter that was so bad. If anyone are from the Midwest area, I think it was the winter of '96 into '97 out in North Dakota. It was bad. We had so much snow. I have a photo somewhere where one snowstorm, the snowbank is literally higher than the ceiling it is right now. There was a house completely buried under snow. The fire department had to try to dig them out, and as they were digging, they're just digging toward the house. They don't know where anything's at. They found a kitchen window, and so they just shoveled around that. And this was 3 doors up from where I live, so they had to go in and out of their kitchen window for like 2-3 days as they were trying to shovel out where their front door is. And so because I also was like right next to all the farmlands and stuff like that and country roads, a lot of the farmers had like those really big snow blower type things that you could put on the front of the tractor, and they actually asked a lot of the farmers coming to town to clear the roads because the snow drifts were so high that regular plows couldn't clean them at all, and so they had to come in and do that, and it was insane. And that was, like I said, if anyone's from the Midwest area, if you know the Red River that separates Minnesota and North Dakota, I mean, that flooded horribly bad. There was a really bad flood, I think it was in April, and what was really weird is then there was a really bad blizzard in like May. It went late into the year, and the snow that happened in May almost put it all right back. Everything that we lost, we almost got back.
Serious?
And then of course when it started to melt, because it was May, it melted fast, and it just flooded everything really bad again. It was nasty, but
wow.
So I remember that part too with winter and stuff. But I think we are at the point where this is probably warm enough to serve up. I left my cup out in the living room, which still has coffee in it, because I was dumb and was like, you know what, I want some coffee, forgetting that I was going to make hot cocoa tonight to do this video. So I have half a thing. I think I drank most of it. But we have Chayse's cup right here. Basically, when you're all done, I just kind of whipped it up some more, get it nice and frothy in there. And then I just take it straight from this, and I just pour it right into the cups. That way, yeah, no, it's not that big a deal. That way you don't have to worry about siphoning anything. And my cup is the same as Chayse's right now. And these are about like a 32 ounce cup. And this is why I do a 1.5 mixture, because it fills his up full, it fills mine up full, and then this pot is completely empty, and we're good for the night. But do we have your lid? Here's your lid. I'm going to fill you up just a little bit more here. I think what we might do is pause the video for a second. We'll go sit on the couch and kind of wrap things up. Like I said, I can leave instructions at the bottom of this video if you guys would like to make this homemade hot cocoa. It's not too hard to do if you want. They do kind of recommend maybe putting a little bit of like vanilla extract in there, or if you want to shove a candy cane in there and give it some flavor, you can do that. You do. And one day what I did too is we had leftover Hershey bar stuff from when we made homemade s'mores in the oven, which maybe that's a video we can do sometime, is doing the s'mores in the oven. But I put a few of the chocolate chunks inside there, and it just kind of thickened it up and made it a little bit rich, and it was really good.
That was a good one. I remember that day.
Yeah. But we're going to pause the video right here, probably go see you on the couch, and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so this video got a little bit longer than I was expecting, but it was a lot of fun to tell stories of past winters and Christmases and the strange different things that have gone on and what we remember as kids. I would love to see in the side chat when this premieres all your guys' stories. Be interactive with one another. Get into the comments section, interact inside the comments, and tell stories that you guys might remember of a fun Christmas or a fun Hanukkah or a fun winter or whatever it is that you choose to celebrate, or
Yule.
Yeah, or Yule. Noki gets a little bit grumpy at Bailey sometimes because, I don't know, those two just pick on him. He's the old man of the family, and that's why he's in his little sweater. It's awfully cold outside, and with his short hair, he can get chilly kind of quick. But this is the first time Bailey has been in a video. Anyways, we are going to enjoy our nice, fresh, hot cocoa. I'm going to put the directions in the bottom, in the description for you guys, so that way you can make it for yourself at home. But I hope you guys like this video. Tell me what you thought of it. Hi, Gizzy. He's going to come up and he wants some hot cocoa for himself. Anyways, do you have anything, Dad?
I would just probably second, share the story, share the love, you know. It's darker out, we're staying inside a lot more, unless you love being outside, then lucky you. And share the story, share the love, you know. Why not? This is a great chance to be able to do that. It's a great chance to be able to reflect and think of like happy times and happier times to come.
And if you have hot cocoa, cuddle up with your loved one, cuddle up with your pet, cuddle up with your stuffed animal. You dribbling.
I'm dribbling.
We're gonna leave that in. But anyways, guys, cheers to y'all. You know, have a happy holiday season. Have a happy new year. I'm probably gonna put out another video soon, but I wanted to have this be a fun little holiday video. Love you guys. Let's get peeling here.
Izzy, come here. I'd say, like, this is a perfect time to tell stories, especially during this. I find that, at least for work for me, I've been doing where it's like, add a little extra cheer, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or if you don't celebrate, just have fun. It's a...